What's up, guys? Go back to review. And Scream 6 now officially is in the theaters, and this is the sixth installment in the franchise. It will follow the gang in New York City, where Ghostface is coming out from one by one. And with this film, I really enjoyed it. In fact, this was a great and enjoyable experience to witness in the theater. And with the kills in this movie, I thought there were most bloodiest and goriest kills to ever witness, especially with this film. And there were callbacks with the franchise, and even having one of those adrenaline pumping like edge receive moments as well. So it is reveals a beautiful spoiler review for Scream 6, going over everything that went down, including going over the ending, and kind of like how it sets up the next movie and so on and so forth as well. But if you never heard a dose of this, be sure to subscribe to HBO. So it's a visit in the future. So let's get to it. And now with this film, I thought it had like the best opening sequence, and that is that we open on a bar, and with this actress, as from right or not, that like gets a call from a guy who she's on a date with, and in fact the voice as she is like calling from, like, and even with the voice behind it, is actually Antonio Revolori from the MCU's first Spider-Man trilogy, and even like communicating with this guy that she's on a date. They were to meet her at the restaurant, and at first what we thought it was a Halloween prank. It's because obviously because this movie takes place around Halloween time in New York City, and a lot of people like to pull pranks on Halloween. But we actually see like a Ghostface completely coming out and actually killing her, and like this is for what we thought, like, and it was actually revealed, and that like she's one of the film teachers at their film school, and like even with its like killer that as revealed to be, you know, Antonio Revolori, like whose name is Jason, at the character that he is playing, that like stabbed the woman who's on a date with. And then we see Jason back at his apartment building when he suddenly gets a call from Ghostface, who says that he has plans to kill Sam and Tara, the Carpenter's sisters. And then we see Jason getting attacked by Ghostface, and like even telling him where he's hiding it, especially with this buddy who we thought it was his buddy, but it turns out he was actually killed by a Ghostface who was actually in the fridge, and then we see Jason like getting killed by Ghostface, and so with this opening sequence, I really enjoy it, so especially as I love this Scream for franchise, and I really enjoyed how this opening sequence went down. Next we get to Sam who's with the therapist, and now that she is in therapy, it's because of well things that I'd actually been through being in a Woodsboro, she has survived all the killings, and like even when people making accusations against her, that I think that like she is a killer, it's because with the same, she is the daughter of Billy Loomis, and then people think that makes her the killer as well. And even with the therapist that wasn't able to process all the stuff that Sam has been going through, and the next we cut to Tara, who's in college and who was attending frat parties, and even as called college parties as well. And now I think with this moment of where I find out that like Sam is kind of being overprotective of Tara, and that is rescuing her at that college party, even being brought up by a boy, and even with Sam grabbing Tara at that party, with Tara calling Sam out for being overprotective of her, and how she doesn't need her help, and how she can survive on her own, and how she can protect herself, and like especially for what Sam and Tara have been through in Woodsboro, trying to survive, even with the whole family history behind them, especially with Billy Loomis and much more. And there's some thing with this. I think this was the moment with Sam being overprotective of Tara. And then we get to where Ghostface attacks the convenience store, and as with Sam and Tara, as with Ghostface, it's after them in the convenience store, and then that's when we see a Ghostface rocking a shotgun, and like that's where things get all crazy. It's because this film had the most glorious kills, and like especially with this with the marketing of this film, like it isn't like any other Ghostface, and that it delivered exactly on that. Like it's a completely different Ghostface that was rocking a gun, and like even though like this was like the most scary scream film like sequence right here, it was especially horrifying to witnesses, especially in the theater. But I thought it was a great sequence. And then we see the girls at the station which we were introduced to Detective Wayne Bailey. This is the detective that like Quinn called earlier, but before the whole being attacked with a ghost face, and that like with the detective obviously because he is her father. Now we see the return of Kirby, and which is she was the survivor of the 2011 Westboro attack that happened in Scream 4, and then we see the return of Gail Weathers, and then like she revealed that was the city Prescott, and that like she went into hiding, and then I took her family with her, especially with her husband and kids, and like I think that is exactly why that I see a Nev Campbell in this Scream movie, and even because with all behind the scenes of getting her to return, and I think it was a better off to not have a Sidney Prescott to return, but we still miss a Sidney Prescott because she's the one and that likes to start all this with the whole Scream franchise, especially with the first like a couple of Scream movies as well, and even that like as we see like as I say, I'm trying to punch Gale, but it fails, and then we see a Tara just like freaking punch Gale, and like it's like the same way that like a Sidney punch Gale, and in the earlier Scream movies. I think this was an excellent callback. Next, we get to the sequence where Ghostface is coming out after the gang in Sam and Tara's apartment, and I think with this sequence, I think it's had like a adrenaline pumping like in the edge, but see it had like a sweaty palms in it as well, and like even as we feel terrified for these characters if they're gonna make out alive, especially as in escaping the apartment and getting to a Dave's apartment, who is Sam's boyfriend and a neighbor, as they are trying to get across, and even though with Minnie and Annika getting across, with that we see Annika who is not making out alive, and plus who we thought she was gonna be killed by a Ghostface, but it turns out with a Ghostface he shakes the ladder, especially I think with this sequence I think it was most of the disturbing one, even to witness, and like even that it had the most bloodiest kills, especially with Mindy and Annika being stabbed. Then we see the entire gang after the whole Ghostface attack. We see Gail and even Ethan being played by Jack Champion, and like even with the gang being upset and frustrated because Ethan that he didn't even come to help, and like with that he missed that he was in a study hall with so many people that like he couldn't come to help, and like even as we see them being pissed at Ethan for helping, we see like Gail along. And like even though we got to the Ghostface shrine, which the gang and Gil along with them as well, and especially with this Ghostface shrine of all the Ghostface killers that we experienced throughout the entire franchise, and there are so many Easter eggs and callbacks to this franchise, and it's especially including with the TV I killed a Stu Monger for the original Scream after he's been from like he was the Ghostface in the first Scream movie, and like even we see Gil looking at the display of a Dewey after we saw him die in the last Scream movie, and like even with Gil still thinking of a Dewey, it's because like they were married in this franchise, and even it was so awesome to see this Ghostface shrine to keeping of the legacy as it continues to be a consistent consistent horror franchise. As we get to these character interactions, especially with the one that I enjoy the most, is the W between Minnie and Kirby, as they were geeking out over horror films, and even as naming like a few, and like so especially it was just so fun to witness. And next we see Sam and Tara, Detective Billy, and Kirby try to track down Ghostface. And then as soon as we can see where Ghostface is located, it's actually located in Gail's apartment. And with Gail, she has a new boyfriend. And then gets a call from Ghostface. And then with the Ghostface tormenting Gail on how he killed Dewey. It's because he killed Dewey in the last film. And like even with the Gail's boyfriend, I get attacked by Ghostface, and then we see Gail get attacked by a freaking Ghostface in the most like a horrifying and the most disturbing way, and we were all questioning if Gail was gonna make out alive in this one, because we knew Gail thought the entire franchise as the reporter, and then we see like behold like Gail did not make out alive, she like died, and like even it was like horrifying and really sad to witness, especially with the Gail dying. And then we see the gang once again, and even with Sam making a plan to trap Ghostface, and even to give herself up, it was with everyone accusing her that she is a killer. And then we see the gang on the subway, but we don't see Minnie and Ethan with them. It's because they got separated by all the people and the whole Halloween costumes, since it is a Halloween. And then we see like so many Easter eggs, including for other judges from Ray or Not, and even with the whole Michael Myers mask as well. And then we see Minnie and Ethan on the train, and then we see Minnie get attacked by a Ghostface, and then she gets stabbed, and like even with the whole gang back at the Ghostface Shrine Museum. And then we see like Sam having a vision of her father, Billy Loomis, like telling her to stand up for herself, and to also like to not trust anyone. And then she grabs a knife of the original killer, and even starts going after Ghostface. And now, with the third act of this film, is that we see a moment between Tara and Chad as they start to have a moment and a kiss, and eventually becoming a couple before a Ghostface comes after them, and so starts slicing Tara, and then we see not one but two Ghostfaces, and it's like a stabbing and a killing Chad, and I think with Tara and Chad becoming a couple, I think it was a pretty obvious, since we saw a moment in that earlier on in the film, and then we see the whole Ghostface reveal, and but before that it's been revealed, and that with Kirby has been fired from the FBI like a few months ago, and then with this whole Ghostface reveal, it's revealed to be a Detective Billy all along, and even with his children as well, it's revealed to be Ethan and Quinn, who is still alive after she was stabbed by a Ghostface. And then we found out that with these people that is a Richie's family, which with Richie, he was revealed to be a Ghostface, and in the last film as well, and even with his entire family to avenge his death. And now in this final battle, we see Sam and Tara fighting the whole Billy family, and then that's when we see like Tara stabbing Ethan, and with Sam shooting Quinn, and then like eventually then we see Sam using her father's Ghostface mask to attack Detective Billy, which she uses the Ghostface voice, and eventually killing him and stabbing him to death as well, using the whole Ghostface methods and techniques. And then this is what I love, that it is a third act, and even that I felt like underwhelming, that it was predictable from the start. But again, I think this was a pretty awesome the third act, especially for a Scream movie. And now with the ending to this movie, that we see everyone outside, and we see Chad and Minnie who are okay, and like they have survived from a Ghostface stabbing, and then we see a Tara kissing Chad one last time before he goes into the hospital, and then we see Sam looking at the Ghostface mask one last time before throwing it to the ground. And plus, I think there's gonna be another Scream movie on the way, because I think that this consistently is being a horror franchise. It's just, and like even continuing the whole legacy, especially with these characters, especially with the Scream franchise. And yeah, now like I said with the Scream 6, I thought this was a pretty enjoyable film. Especially with this being the sixth film in the franchise, and even having what was a LGBT moments with adrenaline pumping moments, especially if these characters were gonna make it out alive, and even as it was sad to witness the death of Gil Weathers, especially after what it done to a Dewey. But it was even sadder to witness as well, and it's especially as I love other characters and some, especially as I like the Chad guy. In the film, I thought he was pretty enjoyable, especially as I love other Carpenter sisters as Sam and Tara. I thought they did an awesome job as well, and overall this was a great Scream film to witness. Like curious for what story probably for the next Scream movie as well. And so that's gonna be it for this video. And let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, and what your guys' thoughts on Scream 6. And give me a rate between 1 out of 10. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to turn on a notification about my video videos, and for updates, you always follow me on Twitter. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.